Welcome back, Joseph Kendo here. Of all the unusual weapons used in the Resident Evil franchise, none have called us into questioning its placement in a weapon class other than the egg. Today on the gun bench, we have the egg, the widely versatile culinary ingredient that has seen multiple uses from the kitchen to active conflict zones alike. Now that we have it in our hands, let's take a crack into the egg's strange yet fitting appearance and look at its implementation into the various settings in Resident Evil. The egg made its very first appearance in Resident Evil 4. Set in the rural outskirts of Spain, the commoners of the village lived off resources of the land and had developed an isolated community based around agriculture, with the egg serving as an important good to their local trade. When traversing the village, eggs can be found from the domesticated hens of the farming region. To obtain them, players must wait for the hens to lay these eggs, and regardless of your patience, it's best not to hunt them down, since they will no longer drop them, and to be careful with their delicate structure, as any amount of damage inflicted to the egg will cause them to break. However, there is another way to obtain eggs from other regions of the game. Inside breakable boxes, snakes may be encountered when you least expect them, and it's advised that you always slash a box twice in preparation for a lunging snake hidden inside. But in the case that you have been bitten, it's best to track the snake down for revenge, in which you will receive your reward. Once obtained, the egg occupies a single cell of the attaché case, and it stands as the smallest item in the game. When examined, its description reads, "Chicken egg, restores health by a small degree." With its role in health restoration, the egg serves as the weakest healing item of the game, but there are other variants of the egg to promote its utilization. The egg in Resident Evil 4 is most commonly found with a white shell. However, there are a total of 3 different variations appearing as the white, brown, and golden eggs. Even though the white and brown chicken eggs are known to share the same nutritional value, in this game the two are separated by their nourishing abilities, price, and rarity, along with the highly coveted golden egg, which fetches a high price in certain markets. Throughout the course of the game, the brown and gold eggs are more difficult to find, but for good reason. Compared to the white egg, the brown and gold eggs restore the health gauge with increasing efficacy, with the brown egg restoring 3 degrees and the gold egg completely replenishing Leon's health in any situation. And in terms of market value, the gold egg might be best considered as a treasure, since it can be sold to the merchant for a total of 3,000 pesetas. But unlike the other healing items of the game, the egg doubles as a usable weapon. Once equipped, the egg can be thrown as a projectile weapon similar to the grenades, but instead of exploding, they will crack open and splat on impact. Since the egg is simply thrown overhand, its effective range is extremely limited, which requires the player to lob the egg upward in order to increase its range. But with no aiming system or visual assistance, it takes a bit more skill to accurately land your toss. When used against weaker enemies, the egg will stun them upon impact, although it doesn't actually deal any damage. The same holds true when used against cows, dogs, crows, and even Ashley. But an exception to this rule is the chicken itself, as hitting a chicken with its own egg will kill them in one hit. Unfortunately, despite being weaponized, the merchant offers no upgrades for the egg. But don't lose hope, as there are means to improve performance. If you purchase the larger attaché cases, the egg can effectively have its carrying capacity increased from 60 eggs to 10 dozen, allowing Leon to serve an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet. And if you obtain the egg playing as the other characters featured in the Mercenaries, Ada, Krauser, Hunk, and Wesker each have their own unique poses. Despite the eggs dealing no damage, they won't go to waste, given that they do provide an opportunity for each of the mercenaries to strike their enemies with devastating melee attacks. Released 5 years after, players were reintroduced to the egg in the long-awaited sequel, Resident Evil 5. Set in the West African Autonomous Zone of Kijuju, domesticated chickens of the region do not roam frequently in the urban districts. Rather, these hens can be found in the distant outskirts, inhabited by the Indipia tribe. Throughout their marshland settlements, several eggs can be found laid by free-range hens or from serpents that remain hidden inside of pots. But throughout exploration, you may encounter a mysterious island, completely inhabited by a flock of chickens. These wild chickens readily lay eggs, but are willing to attack the player if presented with any hostility. If you survive, the eggs obtained can be consumed for healing, with the player cracking the egg open and eating it raw on the spot. When equipped, the eggs in this game are still capable of stunning the enemy, as the white, brown, and golden eggs will not inflict any damage to the targets they come into contact with. However, this doesn't stand true to the fourth unique egg variant introduced in Resident Evil 5, presented as the rotten egg, granting players the ability to poach their enemies with eggs alone. When examined, its description reads, "This egg is completely rotten. It's turned black. It's not edible at all. And if the rotten egg is accidentally consumed, it is shown to actually decrease the player's health, poisoning them with an immediate 50% decrease to their vitality. On the flip side, the rotten egg is the most powerful of the roost, and it is capable of dishing out a whopping 1000 damage, placing it well into the high-caliber classes between rifles and magnums. But with the difficult aiming and limited range of the eggs, they are best saved for close-quarters engagements. Although in certain situations of last resort, the rotten egg may be the final ingredient to deliver the finishing blow. While the egg has not made its return to the series since, it's fondly remembered as one of the many quirks to come from an action era of Resident Evil that reminded us of the fun that could be had when a game isn't taken so seriously. To some, the egg's appearance may have been oddly perceived, but with its appropriate implementation, it didn't detract from the immersion that was built from the environments of the games, and only served to further add character to the different locales. And after seeing similar efforts to reintroduce chickens in recent years, there may be an opportunity for the egg to return. So, that's it for the egg, the perfect ingredient improvised for nourishment and self-defense. Be sure to check out our KendoGunShop merchandise. Our first 2 shirts and sticker designs are now available. You can find the link to the shop down below. If you'd like to help the KendoGunShop expand its business past Raccoon City, share the video with your friends to help spread the word, or feel free to leave us a tip over at our Patreon, link in the description. Make sure to leave us a comment on what guns from the series you'd like to see a video on next, and don't forget to come back and visit us at the gun shop for more content about the firearms of Resident Evil.